Hello paper crafters, I'm Sunny Sky and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. Today we're just talking about a couple products. We are going to show you a card, but I really wanted to just teach you about the Stamparatus and show you these little narrow note cards. These are only 2.5 by 4.5 inches when you fold them up, and these have these cute little envelopes. So tiny, too small to mail, but really fun if you want to hand deliver a gift. So we are also paper piecing the skirt on a couple of these and doing a little doodling around the borders of these little mini cards and using the Stamparatus to places, because these are two separate images. Also, this is a Hostess set. Now, I wanted to show you that when you use the Stampin' Blends to color, which we're doing here, this one is kind of fading through on the back, and alcohol markers tend to bleed a little bit. So you can put a little piece of decorative paper on the inside of your card. And here we've paper pieced. This is designer series paper from the Animal Expedition set on the front as her dress, and then I just put a full sheet, not full size, but you know, layered. Okay, so the Stamparatus. This is the basic part of the Stamparatus. It comes with 2 magnets on the back. There's storage place for them. They're super strong. You don't want your 2 magnets to click together. Sometimes they break when you do that. So that's why they are stored so far apart on the Stamparatus. And I've also added a little washi tape just as a little handle to help me get them off because they are so strong. Your Stamparatus comes with 2 plates that you can put on the top, and you can put them on this top or side section. And because you can take them out and flip them over, I have a stamp on this side. I have also a stamp on this side, and then there's a second plate, and I put on that a stamp, well, on this side, and then also on the back side as well. And you also do not have to attach them directly in the corner of the Stamparatus. You could move the hinges down if you want to make multiples of things, if you want to make a pattern, a repeating border, which is pretty handy. Now, this works with wood-mounted or clear-mounted stamps. If you've got wood-mounted, use the base like this. If you have the photopolymer stamps where you need the little cushion on the back and they're not quite as deep, you put this on. And then I've used some scrap grid paper to put on mine as well to kind of protect it. We just started selling Stamparatus accessories, and one of the things is grid paper that fits perfectly in here with the line-up measurements, so that's fabulous. So what we're going to do for this card is I'm going to take these these narrow note cards, and I think I only need just 1 magnet, but I do have my second one. Maybe I will just to show you. I will put the second one here. So I'm keeping my paper so that it won't move around on me between images. And I'm going to go ahead and hinge up my top and ink it up. Let me find my ink pad. Alright, I'm going to ink up the bottom of my little girl here. Oh, this is a Hostess set. So you can only get this if you host a show, which also means if you want to do a $150 or more order, you can be your own host even if you're the only customer. So cute. Lots of different events there. Okay, so this is the bottom of the girl, and I'm going to put this down and just press down to make sure I've got a good impression there. And I do. And then I also want to paper piece. So I've got a piece of this scrap paper from the Animal Expedition, and I'm going to re-ink and press it down, and then I'm going to just cut that out so I can have her skirt made of patterned paper. Okay, so we've got the bottom of her down, and then we need to do the top part. And so let's say that she's going to be carrying the books in this image. I've already lined this up, guys. Earlier I took the stamp and I set the stamp right on my cardstock here, lined it up exactly how I wanted, then closed the hinge, and it you know, suctioned onto the hinge. So I've already lined it up where it needs to be. And then I'll just stamp that. And if you get an image where you haven't got a good impression, you see part of my little things are missing there, why, you got your cardstock ironed in place there, magneted in place. You just re-ink and come back down again. And it's gonna stamp in exactly the same spot. So it's a clear image. Great, great thing about this. Now, if I'm doing a bunch of these narrow note cards, at this point, I can take this off. I'll pop a new note card in here, and I can restamp again. And I can even stamp the books first, but in this case, let me just flip this over and stamp the sign. And I can stamp that before I do her legs. It's still going to be in the same spot, and again, I lined this up before you guys came on board here, so I know exactly where it's going. And then I can stamp up her bottom half of her body, and that'll just be lined up perfectly. So if you're making Christmas cards, you can do a bunch. You can have them all lined up and use a bunch with the Stamparatus, and you won't have to worry about resetting them. Ooh, I just did my magnets together and I broke them. Oh, can you believe this, guys? Oh, I'm not even going to mess with it. Just what I told you not to do, I did. Did you hear it? I'm sure you heard it. You see that it's broken there? Where it broke apart? Good thing we sell spares. So don't do what I did. Be more careful. Okay, I'll be right back with this paper piecing skirt. Hey, I'm a mess today. I have been adjusting to some new schedules, and I'm sorry about all that mix-up there and mess up. Well, now you won't forget about the magnets. I also got some nice ink on the back of my card here, so you know that's always an opportunity for embellishment. So we're going to layer, and you know what, maybe I'll wait to layer the inside just so that you can see. I'm going to use some of my alcohol markers here. Now this is not a Stampin' Up! Brand marker right now. I don't have these colors in the Stampin' Up! Because I had some Copics already. Now I will tell you that we have that lovely pale gray marker, and if you'll run that along and just make a little shadow on the things that you're coloring, it really gives them a little more dimension. They don't float on the card. It gives them a little base, a little background, and you can even run some shadow behind there. Very subtle, but it's a little something. And then you can see a little bit of that color showing through. Not a lot, because that was a small area that I did. But we'll go ahead and put this designer series paper on the inside of the card there. And I'm going to make her sign, say thank you, and we'll go down here. And that'll just add a little bit of extra decoration to this small card. And I've cut out this little skirt, so we're going to add that in there. I really like that our designer series paper, even though they all have a theme, they also have a basic side to them. So although this is an animal paper on one side, I can use it for a non-animal card here. And it goes just perfectly. Okay, so I'm just going to add some of these little pearls to the flowers here, the centers. So I'm not in a coloring mood today. I'm kind of bummed about my magnets that I broke. But that's what I get for trying to be quick and careless. So anyways, I got to show you the Stamparatus, and I got to show you the the narrow note cards. And usually I just go with, you know, I'm mostly making full-size cards, but these are going to be great, especially coming up for Christmas time. Look, this is a pattern that's actually in this stamp set. A little flowered skirt that I colored in. Isn't that fun? There's one I just colored the whole thing, and if I actually don't like the skirt, it's a little streaky on there because I was using regular markers instead of alcohol based. So there's another one where I did the paper piecing and another paper piecing one. So anyways, those are the narrow note cards, the Stamparatus. Hey y'all, go have some fun crafting today. And thanks for joining me.